For 20 years, he lived in the same house, tending to his garden. Neighbors marveled at how beautiful his flowers were, but never asked questions. Until one day, curiosity got the better of them, and they learned the shocking truth about Harold's past. Welcome to Everyday People. Before we begin this powerful story of hidden identity, science, and forgotten expertise, tell me in the comments where you're watching from today, and if you believe stories like this need to be told, hit that subscribe button and help us share these stories. The blue house at the end of Maple Street had the most beautiful garden in the neighborhood. Harold Mitchell, 68 years old, retired, a quiet man. He'd lived in the same house for 20 years, and his garden was legendary in the area. Different flowers bloomed every season. Spring brought tulips and daffodils, summer roses and irises, fall chrysanthemums and asters. Even in winter, he grew exotic plants in his greenhouse. Every plant looked perfect. Neighbors would stop and stare in admiration as they passed by. Harold usually worked quietly, just saying good morning with a smile. Nobody talked to him much, but everyone appreciated his garden. But Harold had strange habits. He'd go out to the garden at 5:30 a.m., examining each plant individually. He wasn't just watering them. He was checking leaves with a magnifying glass, taking soil samples, and putting them in small bottles. And strangest of all, he talked to the plants. Young neighbor Jake had seen him early one morning while jogging. Harold had a notebook in his hand, standing by each plant, writing something down, like he was conducting research. And the tools Harold used. These weren't normal gardening tools. Digital pH meters, soil analysis kits, precision scales. Jake's father had been a gardener and never used things like that. Once, neighbor Sarah passed by Harold's garage and saw inside. Shelves full of chemical bottles, microscope-like instruments, and very technical-looking charts hanging on the walls. Harold's home library was strange too. You could see it from the window. Thick, academic books, scientific journals. These weren't normal gardening books. Jake's curiosity had reached its peak. One Saturday morning, he gathered courage and approached Harold. "Hello, Mr. Mitchell," he said. "Your garden is really amazing. How do you grow these flowers so perfectly?" Harold stopped and looked at Jake. There was a strange expression on his face, like he'd been expecting this question but was also afraid of it. Just patience, Harold said, and a little experience. "But so many different plants. How do you know all of them so well?" Harold hesitated. He put down his garden shears and turned toward Jake. "I was interested in botany when I was young," he said slowly. Jake persisted. "Did you study it in college?" Harold was quiet for a long time. Then he took a deep breath. "I got my PhD at MIT, he said, in plant genetics." Jake's mouth fell open. "MIT? But, we thought you were just a gardener." Harold showed a bitter smile. "I was a biomolecular engineer for 30 years. I specialized in genetic modification, worked at Monsanto, later started my own laboratory. What happened?" "Why did you quit?" Harold's face changed. There was deep sadness in his eyes. "Because what we were doing was wrong, Jake. GMOs, pesticides, interfering with nature. I started to help humanity, but ended up becoming someone who was destroying nature." Jake listened in amazement. "In 2003, an assistant working in my lab got cancer because of the chemicals we were using. That day, I quit everything, sold the company, moved here. And now? Now I work with nature's own methods. Every plant is grown according to its own genetic code. No chemical fertilizers, no pesticides, just natural methods." Harold looked at his garden. "This is my way of seeking forgiveness for my sins. For 20 years, I've been trying to make up for the damage I caused to nature." Jake looked at him with admiration. "So you're really a scientist?" "I was," Harold said. "Now I'm just a gardener, and I'm much happier this way." It didn't take long for the news to spread. When Jake shared the situation with his family, neighbors started looking at Harold differently, but Harold didn't change. He still went out to his garden at 5:30 every morning, carefully examining his plants, maintaining them with natural methods. Only now his neighbors didn't see him as just a gardener. In his every movement, every piece of knowledge, there were those years of experience. That scientific precision, that attention to detail, that perfectionism, it all made sense now. Sarah asked one day, "Do you regret it, Harold? The career you left behind?" Harold smiled. "No, Sarah. Back then, I was trying to change the world. Now I'm just beautifying my own corner, and this is much more meaningful." Soon, Harold's garden became not just a beautiful site, but also a teaching area. University students started coming to learn organic farming methods. Environmental protection organizations arranged visits. But Harold never acted like a teacher. He just shared his knowledge, his experience, his regrets. "Science is a powerful tool," he would say, "but how you use it matters. I used it wrong. Now I'm trying to make amends." And so we learned that sometimes the greatest scientists are people doing the most ordinary jobs. Sometimes the deepest knowledge is hidden in the quietest corners. Harold's story showed us that mistakes made in the past don't have to be obstacles to taking right steps toward the future. What matters is learning, changing, and making a contribution. Now I ask you, have you ever met someone like Harold? Someone who seemed ordinary but had great knowledge and experience hidden in their past? Write their name in the comments, share their stories. Because here at Everyday People, we continue to give voice to hidden experts. If this story touched you, subscribe, share, and help ensure these quiet specialists are never forgotten. See you in the next story. And remember, if you see someone working quietly and knowledgeably around you, look closer. Their past might be more impressive than you could ever imagine.